Hello, today we are going to talk about area of rectangles and parallelograms. Rectangles are also known as quadrilaterals because they have four sides. And a rectangle will have opposite sides that are congruent, and all four angles will be 90 degrees. When you see a four-sided figure with these characteristics, that is a rectangle. Now, the area of a rectangle can be found by using the formula base times height. A lot of times you will see the variables A for area, B for base, and H for height. So let's do an example. Sometimes they'll give you a picture, and then sometimes you won't have one, like in this example, and they would just tell you that the base is a certain measurement and the height is a certain measurement. In this case, the base is 7, the height is 10. In order to find that area, we're going to plug in these values into the area formula. So the area will be found by multiplying the base, which is 7, times the height, which is 10. Therefore, this area appears to be 70 centimeters. And we always square our area. We're multiplying by 2 dimensions, so the area is squared. Now, sometimes you'll be given an example like this one, where your rectangle will be placed on a coordinate plane. And in that case, what you're going to have to do is go in and find the measurements between the 2 points, which we've talked about before. And then you're going to use that distance to find the area. So I'm going to start by finding the base of my rectangle. It appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units long. And as you can see, I'm just counting. If you want to use the formula to find the distance between the 2 points, you can also do that. Since the base is 5, it's safe to say, since this is a rectangle, the opposite side is also 5. Now the height, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units long. And remember, opposite sides are congruent in a rectangle. So it seems like I have my dimensions. Now I just need to remember that in order to find the area of a rectangle, you're going to do the base times the height. In this case, the base is 5. The height is 8. Therefore, the area is going to be 40. We're going to say units squared, because we don't know if this is centimeters or if these blocks represent inches. We just don't know. So we know it's some unit, and it's going to be squared because it is area. Now, moving on to the next shape, a parallelogram. Basically, a parallelogram is also a quadrilateral, four-sided figures. Opposite sides are still congruent. However, your angles will not necessarily be 90 degrees. But whatever they measure for a parallelogram, opposite angles will be congruent. So we're going to move on to finding area of a parallelogram like this one. The area of a parallelogram is found by also doing base times height. So looking at this example, the parallelogram is given to us. The base, which we can clearly see the bottom, the side that the figure sits on, is 3. So I'm just going to write that. Now, 3 inches, that is. The height. A lot of students like to think that the other side of the parallelogram is the height. Not necessarily. Height always goes from the very top of the parallelogram straight down to the base. A lot of times I like to tell my students, think about it when you go to the doctor and they take your height. They always say, stand straight up. That's what they always say, stand straight up. So if you tilt, it's no longer your height. But when standing straight up and down, or in other words, perpendicular to the base, making a right angle with the base, this will be your height. So in this case, the height is 6 inches. And we're going to use those measurements in the formula, base times height, to get the area. The base was 3 inches. The height is 6 inches. Therefore, it's safe to say the area is 18 inches, again, squared. Last example, when you are given a parallelogram and it's placed on a coordinate plane. Again, you're going to have to find the distance to get the base. So I'm just going to count. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and write that in so I won't forget. Now the height. Remember, height is not this line, but instead height is going to be a line that is perpendicular to the base. So when you go straight down until you reach that baseline right here, this is going to be your height. So this is the line that we need to count. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for my height. We're still going to use the same formula. It is a parallelogram, so base times height will give me the area. Remember from the picture, the base is 6, the height was 5, and 6 times 5 gives us an area of 30 units squared.